I never imagined a single thoughtless comment could change everything between us, but here I am, sitting alone in my apartment, replaying every word I said to him that night. My name's Emily, I'm 27 years old, and I thought I understood love. I thought I knew how to handle my heart and his. We had been together for almost 3 years, and everyone around us would say we were perfect together. He was kind, patient, and endlessly generous. I was fiery, impulsive, and sometimes careless with words, but I never believed those flaws could hurt the person I cared about most. It all started with a joke, the kind that seemed harmless in my mind at the time. We were lying on my couch after a late movie night, his head resting on my shoulder as we laughed about random things. I turned to him grinning and said, "Honestly, Jake, I feel like you're just a phase. Like I'll wake up one day and realize I'm done with you, and it won't even be a big deal." I laughed to soften the blow, thinking it would sound playful, teasing. I didn't notice the way his smile faltered, the subtle tightening of his jaw, or the silence that followed. He stayed quiet for a moment longer than usual, staring at the ceiling as if he were trying to figure out whether I was joking or serious. I nudged him gently, expecting his usual laugh or eye roll, but instead he just sighed. "Emily," he said quietly, "are you serious?" I waved it off, brushing my fingers through his hair. "Of course not. I'm kidding. You know I love you." His gaze finally met mine, calm, steady, but something had changed in his eyes, a depth of hurt I had never seen before. We tried to move on after that night, but the tension never left. Every joke I made, every teasing comment seemed to echo in his mind. I laughed too loudly at silly memes and he would stare silently at his phone. I mentioned other guys jokingly at parties, and I could see the restraint in his voice when he responded. Jake never raised his voice, he never made a scene. He simply retreated, withdrawing slowly until I began to notice the distance growing between us. The breaking point came on a rainy Thursday evening. I invited him over after work, thinking a quiet night in would smooth over the lingering tension. We ordered takeout, poured wine, and tried to talk casually about our day. I made a light-hearted remark about how predictable he had become, expecting him to chuckle and roll his eyes as he usually did. Instead, he set down his glass, his hand shaking slightly, and said, "Emily, I can't keep pretending that words don't matter. You tell me I'm just a phase, that I'm not permanent in your life, and yet you act like it's nothing." I laughed nervously, attempting to lighten the weight in the room. "It's just a joke, Jake. I didn't mean it like that." But he shook his head, his calmness more piercing than anger ever could be. "That's exactly the problem. You think your words don't have power, that they don't leave marks. But they do. And I can't keep letting myself be marked by someone who doesn't truly see me." I felt the panic rising inside me, my chest tightening as I realized he wasn't bluffing, wasn't angry in a momentary flare. He was done. I opened my mouth to argue, to beg him to stay, but the words caught in my throat. He stood slowly, every movement deliberate, and whispered, "I deserve to be more than just a phase. I deserve someone who treats me like I matter." And then he was gone, the door closing softly behind him, leaving me in a silence so heavy I could almost hear the sound of my own heartbeat. Days passed. I called, texted, sent messages hoping for a reply that never came. I went to his favorite cafe, hoping to catch a glimpse of him or maybe see a friend who could tell me he was just angry and would return. But he wasn't there. He wasn't anywhere. I realized in a cold, sinking moment that he had left, and this time, it wasn't temporary. This time, the consequences of my careless words were permanent. Scrolling through our old pictures, memories of laughter, long walks, and quiet evenings together, I felt a sharp ache. I remembered how he once held my hand through panic attacks, how he stayed up with me when I was sick, how he celebrated my smallest achievements as though they were his own. And I realized painfully that I had been blind to it all, dismissing the depth of his care, taking his patience for granted, laughing at him as if he was dispensable. I cry now often when his name appears in a song, in a movie, or in a passing thought. I cry not just for losing him, but for the way I failed to truly see him before it was too late. And I understand now, in a way I never did before, that love is not just about being together in laughter or comfort. It is about valuing someone in every word, in every small gesture, in every quiet moment.